What's good, folks? It's your boy, the Boxer Know-It-All, just stopping in for a post-fight analysis video of the Pacquiao versus Juan Manuel Marquez 4, which is entirely too much fight. But nonetheless, let me say this. I'm not gonna go crazy with the video, but let me say this. Pacquiao got knocked out due to greed. Due to greed. You know how so many people always talk about Floyd Mayweather, all he talk about is money and this, he's a prize fighter and the chick and all that stuff, right? Well, at least this guy is man enough to say these things regardless of the type of negative feedback he'll get back from it, right? I look for stuff like that in individuals. It means they're not afraid to stand on their own 2 feet. Whereas with Pacquiao, the world's angel, they quote unquote love him so much, right? He can do no wrong, let them tell it. This guy turns around and let me call you back. This guy turns around, just hung up his face, that's a little crisp. This guy turns around and he chose to fight Cotto at first. Why? Because Cotto was the 3rd leading pay-per-view seller in boxing. So he was really going for numbers for his purse-wise, so he can get a better pay-per-view split along with his natural purse that he's supposed to get, right? But nobody says anything about this stuff. Now, mind you, he lost to Timothy Bradley, and they claimed that the numbers were subpar. So he didn't want a rematch with Bradley. It wasn't that people were telling him that he won the fight. I mean, because if you were pissed off about losing, you would have took that rematch regardless of the money. If it wasn't about the money, if it was all about you giving the fans what they want to see. Fans want to see you redeem yourself. But yet and still you focus on trying to fight Miguel Cotto, but you couldn't get him to come down and wait anymore, so he decided not to fight you. And so there you were stuck looking for the next largest pay-per-view attractor. And seeing as that you and Mayweather can't come to terms because of Bob Arum. It's nothing else. I don't care what nobody else says. It's because of Bob Arum. As you can see, Bob Arum can't even do business with Golden Boy, let alone with Mayweather. I don't see why people keep avoiding that and keep on thinking that, you know, somebody's dodging this person or dodging that person. I think that's garbage. So the next best thing, which was the 4th largest pay-per-view drawer in boxing, which is Juan Manuel Marquez. This is why you have all of these rematches. You don't have rematches because of no doubt and all this other stuff, because Pacquiao even said it himself, I believe I won the fight. Even though me personally, I think he lost them all. That's just my feeling on it. But you turn around and chose Marquez. Greed made you choose Marquez. Not because of any other thing. No doubt, no putting no closure on the situation, no anything. Greed made him do that. So greed is what got Pacquiao knocked out. Because he wanted a larger purse and because he wanted, you know, the larger pay-per-view numbers and things of that nature. That's what got his ass knocked out. And listening to Bob Arum, when he should have went on with his career, left that Marquez chapter where it is. And things would have wound up different somewhere down in his career path, I'm quite certain. So there was a speech that I always, that I like or whatever. It was from the movie Underworld, where one of the older vampires, he told his daughter, he said, who do you think God really favors in the web, the spider or the fly? I like that little saying. I marinate on it a lot. Because people always talk about, oh, Pacquiao's so religious, he's this, he's that, da-da-da, he can do no wrong, he's a saint, he's a savior and all this. If you are truly in God's faith, don't matter all the praying you can do and everything else on God's green earth. You can pray your heart out, you can go and do a million things, but if you turn around, God, and you really look, God knows your heart. He knows your inner thoughts. He knows things of this nature. So you're praying to God to bring you about victory, but yet and still you got greed in your heart. You're praying to God like, okay, God, deliver me through this right here, and I'm going to do this over, I'm going to do it. But your intent is wrong, right? You have ulterior motives. You're praying actually for the financial gain, as opposed to just through the match. So when the fly gets in the web, the fly may be praying and saying, God, get me out of this web. but it was predestined for that fly to go right into that particular web, and it was destined for the species of the spider to continue on by the nourishment brought forth by the fly, right? So with Pacquiao constantly buzzing around trying to get these pay-per-view numbers, he eventually landed in that web, and he wasn't favored last night. He got what he kept asking for. Now, you ever heard the old saying, you go to the well one too many times? And that's what he did. He went to the well one too many times trying to get those pay-per-view numbers, to please, well, not even to please Bob Arum, actually to get those particular check numbers. And that's what it was. So he asked for what he got. I was saying all along that Juan Manuel Marquez was going to knock Manny Pacquiao out, or it was going to be a TKO victory. I told everybody this. And granted, I get my fights wrong every now and then. I did not think that Andre Berto was going to lose to Robert Guerrero. And I said that Austin Trout would beat Miguel Cotto if he boxed him from the outside. But if Miguel Cotto backed Trout up, because Trout doesn't have good footwork, that Miguel Cotto would have been able to beat him as long as he sustained the body attack and he kept Austin Trout's reach from playing a part in the fight by coming inside, body attacking and backing him up. Cotto didn't do that. His stamina kicked out, not in like the 7th round, and that cost him, and so therefore he lost. Same thing with Pacquiao. If you know you're fighting a crafty veteran boxer, you're not fighting a journeyman. You're not fighting a guy that's losing every other fight, right? Juan Manuel Marquez hadn't lost up until those controversial decisions with Manny Pacquiao. People act like, Marquez just, people been beating him up. Nobody's been beating him up. Go back and look. Nobody's been beating him up. He hasn't been losing fights. And talking about knocking Marquez out, now granted, Pacquiao came close. I was giving that because he had him in the corner. He put some punishment on Marquez. He really, really did. I gave Pacquiao the first 2 rounds, gave Marquez the 3rd round. I gave Juan Manuel Marquez the 4th round, gave Pacquiao the 5th round, and as we all know, it ended in the 6th. So I was biased by no means, but I felt that Juan Manuel Marquez was going to win, and he did. I was always saying Pacquiao is one-dimensional. Everybody look at me when I'm talking about Pacquiao. They always say, "Oh, you just hate Pacquiao." I don't hate him. I mean, he's a slugger. That's just what he is. That's what sluggers do. So I knew, no matter what they so-called talked about, he looked this great in the gym, he's doing this, he's doing that. Everything looks good in practice. I don't give a fuck what it is. Until it's time to show up, that's when the truth comes out. And it all boils down to, once Pacquiao got hit, he was going to revert back to what he normally does. That's slugging, not moving his head, and just coming in winging punches. And that's what he was doing. Anybody says anything otherwise, well, I'm sorry to tell you, your ass just wrong. He got knocked down in the 3rd round, and from then on, whatever game plan he had, it went out the door, but let's just trade till somebody fall. And that's all it was. Juan Manuel Marquez pissed me off so bad because he constantly leaning to Pacquiao's left. After he would pump out a punch, he would lean to Pacquiao's left and wind up eating those left hands. And you can't do that. You can't circle to a southpaw's power hand by going to his left. You have to negate that by going to his right hand side. Straight right hands are the main punch to counterpunch a southpaw. A straight right hand with a maneuver. And a right uppercut with a maneuver. Maneuver meaning dodge to the right side of the right hand jab that comes out. And then you got a straight opening to the man's face. And a right hook. Marquez was throwing power right hooks. I'm talking about out for the kill on every punch. People get upset because Marquez doesn't just stand like this, like a tree, rooted, and throw punches. That's not boxing, people. I'm sorry. You get mad at the man and say, he was running or he was moving or whatever. It's not anybody else's fault that Pacquiao can't fight on his back foot. He has to be coming forward. And the very thing, his very gift became his curse. Those powerful calves of his, how he doubles that right jab out and lunges into the left, that was his downfall. Because he could not adapt to the counterpunching ability of Juan Manuel Marquez. I screamed at Juan, I screamed at the screen like he really could hear me. I was somebody I wish I could call him in the corner on the phone and tell him, bitch, stop moving towards his left hand. When you throw your counterpunch, lean outside of his right and put that bitch, and that's what he did. He must have heard me up here or something. Maybe I got some kind of telepathy, that I don't really know about. Maybe my telepathy is kicked in, and I can reach out and touch some motherfuckers like Spock.
What's better, faster or slower?
Nope. Guess it don't work. I tried to just tune in and touch Janet Jackson, but it didn't work. But anyway,
Would you like it better if she was fast?
Pacquiao got knocked out so motherfucking bad. The whole room went dead silent. I'm sitting there telling them that Marquez was going to win this fight. They were like, oh, no. Pacquiao got knocked out so motherfucking hard, so sleep, that they were still taking the ring down by the time his ass got up out of there. That bitch was hurt. Mitt Romney, come on, man. Mitt Romney was the bad luck muscle that helped shit go the way it did. He just got knocked out in the polls, and he turned right around and got Manny knocked out in the boxing. He was probably up in there asking Manny Pacquiao to hire him as a VP up in Congress or something down in the Philippines, since his ass ain't got no job no more. So that's probably what that was. But his punk ass was bad luck. You see Jinky, she was crying so bad. Bob Aaron was holding her like, no, don't go up there, bitch. He knocking out everybody. He might cluck your motherfucking ass. And I don't even like the fact that she's running for office. She didn't even graduate. The woman don't know nothing. And here she is running for office off of a name. And they're voting for this woman. Oh my goodness. That's called riding a wave, though. You can't get mad at them for their hustle, though. Can't get mad at them. But he's let the celebrity go to his head. While he's sitting up in there interviewing Larry Merchant, talking and laughing and giggling and watching the basketball game and coming out dry, Marquez was in there getting it in. He was ready. So the lack of focus on Pacquiao's part, it also contributed to his motherfucking demise. People sit there and they talk about now Floyd will fight him. He deserved to fight Floyd. He don't deserve to fight a motherfucking soul. I'm sorry, he don't. The lackluster performance that he put forth with Mosley, then he turned around and got his ass whooped by Timothy Bradley. And yes, to me, he actually lost that motherfucking fight on my scorecard. So for people who are sitting there listening to the commentators, Jim Lampley and all them who love Pacquiao dirty draws, will sit there and tell you that Bradley won one round. Harold Letterman will sit there and tell you Bradley won one round. But for a person that truly knows how to score boxing, go back and watch that fight, and you'll see why the judges scored it the way they did. It's because the man actually won, and that's what it was. So he lost it to Bradley, then he just got his ass knocked the fuck out. Not knocked down, but knocked the fuck out, like Smokey knocked the fuck out. There is no way on God's green earth that he and Mayweather are gonna fight at all. And people are always talking about, oh, it's Mayweather. Mayweather took chances of getting knocked out too. Cotto could have knocked his ass out. Everybody that he's fought, Ortiz could have knocked his ass out. So he took chances just like Pacquiao did. But the only thing about it is Pacquiao took entirely too many chances with a venomous snake, and he got bit. And that's just all it is. So I don't see that fight happening because, contrary to popular belief, Mayweather really don't fight people coming off losses too much. He fought Judah coming off of a loss. I think they already had that fight in the works, but then he went right back and beat the man that beat Judah. Other than that, everybody else he pretty much fought came off of extremely major victories and were champions. Pacquiao don't even have a belt. He don't have anything. He's just there going off a name. And I don't think that's going to carry him into any kind of negotiation table with Mayweather right now, or Al Heyman, So that's a wrap in my mind on that fight. And believe it or not, mark my word, people, Pacquiao is concussive now. A blow like that, I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck how good your chin is, but after that, you got some shell shock coming to you. Now, mind you, watch this here now. All of a sudden, the fight that they claim wouldn't sell, right? The Timothy Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao fight. Watch all of a sudden now that rematch starts to look real, real good. Because people sat and actually thought that Pacquiao won against Timothy Bradley, they're going to say, okay, yeah, let him go in there and avenge his loss to Timothy Bradley, then work his way back up to a Marquez 5. You don't want to see no fucking Marquez 5. I mean, you got what you was asking for. You kept on going over there, fucking with the man. Even after you beat him with the controversial decision, you had beat the man 3 times, basically. Fuck a decision. So let them tell it you won 3 times. Let me tell it you lost. So you done beat this man 3 times. What else is there over there for you to prove? What are you going back for? Nothing. You was going back for the money. And you got what came to you. So now all of a sudden, they're going to say, okay, let him go ahead and fight Timothy Bradley. Watch what I tell you now. And then when you get in there with Bradley thinking it's going to be an easy victory and he's going to run through Bradley, Bradley going to whoop that ass. And then that's going to be the end of Pacquiao career. That's how that's going to go. This Gamboa thing about Gamboa and Broner that 50 Cent is trying to push, that's what Gamboa left Top Rank for in the beginning, was because they tried to make him jump up 2 weight classes and fight Brandon Rios. Gamboa is smaller than my mama. My mama 5'2". Gamboa and my mama about the same height. He is a little bitty motherfucker. He don't need to be up in those high weight classes at all. And given that 14-month layoff that he had, I can see that he really hadn't been practicing and doing what he was doing, because I saw his conditioning kind of fading. And then at the same time, he took unnecessary risks and his defense was subpar. And granted, everybody that know Gamboa, they know he takes a lot of risks or whatever. You know, and I was telling everybody, I'm like, I know when Gamboa fights, it's pretty much a safe bet, like they say, always bet on black, to always bet on Gamboa, because the chances of him losing are like, shit, 90-10. You know, because he do get caught, and it's a 10% chance that he could get knocked out. But for the most part, he got a good durable chin. He can get knocked down and get right back up, as we've seen. And he know what to do when he get up. He know to grab and hold, not to go back to swinging like Pacquiao, dumbass did. But nonetheless, he paid the cost. So, but I don't think that Gamboa and Broner would be good right now. 50 Cent just really in over his head, and he's gonna and mark my word again. Now 50 Cent is a snake, a creep, low down, dirty, backstabbing, bitch-made, rich millionaire motherfucker. So that's my hate and props at the same time. He doesn't know the meaning of the word loyalty. He's only loyal to money, and like he said, he's in the OPM, other people's money. So he don't give a fuck who he stepped on, who he hurt, or what he got to do. That's what he's going to be trying to do, is get money and come out on top. So mark my word, it won't be long before he turn coach on Bob Arum. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. He's trying to use boxing as that gimmick and start beefs with it, but you can't do that. You know, in boxing, these people have been boxing for years, decades, you know, and they're in so good with the television networks and made the networks millions of billions of dollars, that you think that an amateur, they're going to let come along, who the fuck, how much money you done made doing this and this. But if you come back here and you get on Schaefer's bad side, or Heyman's bad side, or De La Hoya's bad side, or Lou DiBella's bad side, all these people got ties with television networks. You don't. So when you disrespect these people, they're not going to go and make no fucking rap song about you. They're going to call up Showtime, they're going to call up HBO, and they're going to say, hey, look, we don't want this motherfucker's fighter fighting on our card, or we're going to scratch the whole motherfucking card. And you know what? They're going to say, okay, that's the same thing that happened with Billy Dibb, who was supposed to be fighting on Miguel Cotto's undercard. From due to 50's mouth, they pulled Billy Dibb out the card because they didn't want the pay-per-view council. Take notes, people, and that's for those of y'all who don't know that. That's exactly what happened. So that's where the apology and shit came from 50. Not no other way. That's why, you know. And so he had to ride Bob Arum's coattail and go ahead and get on TV that way by riding with Bob Arum like he was backstabbing Mayweather to do anyway. He was trying to get Mayweather to sign those papers so that he could have him just like he got Gamboa and run on back over to Bob Arum, and that's what he was going to do to get him over there, and then Bob Arum would have got the full pie as far as on the pay-per-view, because he wouldn't have shared it with Golden Boy nor Mayweather Promotions, because he would have had him signed. Plain and simple. It doesn't take a rocket science. That's pretty much all that is. But nonetheless, this video ran long in the motherfucker. Appreciate you checking me out. Freddie Roach. People asking questions about Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach did say that Juan Manuel Marquez was on steroids, right? He said it. And then he turned around and he retracted his statement because, I guess, legal repercussions, he didn't want any. But, hell, Pacquiao wound up suing a motherfucker for defamation of character when they said he was on steroids. But since Freddie Roach said it, and the world loves Freddie Roach, he could say it and nobody does anything to him. And I think that double standard is ass backwards. I don't give a fuck if people sit there and say, oh, well, you can't talk about him. That's Freddie Roach. You know, he's sick. He has muscular dystrophy and all that stuff. I don't give a fuck. You could be in a motherfucking wheelchair, and if you run around with a bunch of gang members talking shit to them, eventually you're going to get your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? Stay in your lane. So if you sick, and if you got muscular dystrophy and all that shit, and God knows, I would love to see him heal from it. I wouldn't like to see anybody going through that, because I know that's just not a good thing. I don't wish nothing like that on nobody. But if you already going through those things, and you put yourself in a predicament on a constant basis, you know, then I say you get what coming to you. You get it, just like everybody else. So you get no exemptions. You know, you get no exemptions. You get your ass cussed out and handled like everybody else. So I think that they should get in his ass for saying when Marquez was on steroids, and he's not. So that's just a beat down ass whooping from dedication that Marquez put in on this training. And Pacquiao got fucking brutalized. For real. So it is what it is. Alright? Feel free to fuck with your boy, leave your comments, ask any questions you want to, do your video replies and all that good stuff. And me personally, once again, like I said, I feel like this is the beginning of the end for Pacquiao. It was already showing anyway, but this has just highlighted it, because I think now he's going to be concussive whether he knows it or not. And despite that CAT scan that he took last night when Will Marquez put his bitch ass in the hospital, I don't think that it's showing now, but he's going to be concussive, and he's going to be a little bit more timid now. Watch what I tell you. And he's going to get knocked out a lot easier and knocked down a lot more while he's saying he's still going to fight. So we shall see how that goes. All right? Deuces.